Hi, I'm Sabrina Tanner, and I'm here to talk to you about how student athletes should not be paid. I chose this topic because it's a big NCAA controversy and could affect me in the near future because I'm an athlete here at Utah Valley University. I play volleyball for them, and I'm loving the ride. So, the three major concepts I'd like to go over today, supporting my opinion on why athletes should not be paid, are first, how education is guaranteed. Second, how college sports are no different than college majors. And thirdly, I'd like to talk about why it's called student athletes and not athlete students. Finally, I'll go ahead and sum up with a couple personal reasons why I think student athletes should not be paid in college. So, first of all, let's talk about why education is guaranteed. In the daily local news, it talks about how scholarships go straight to tuition. So athletes would never have to worry about getting paid and setting all of their money fees up with the school. They have a money advisor to do that for them, and that they would never have to worry about going into debt because the tuition is paid for through the scholarship that they earned previously. Also in state news, here locally, the average debt after college is $32,528. A huge chunk of your pocket you don't want to end college with. So why don't athletes just take the scholarship and never have to worry about student loans and paying them off? With student loans, you'll feel held back from your career that you really want to start, but every month you're just going to be paying off this loan instead of having it go towards something else that could be helpful with your future and getting you into the field you want from the major you studied. So that's no different from sports, so they would never have to worry about debt after they try to go professional. Next, let's talk about how student athletes in sports are just like students with majors. I have a quote here by Josh Cooper when he is featured in the BDL Sports magazine. Josh Cooper is a professional NFL athlete, so he plays national football, and he's gone through college and he had a scholarship, and this is why he holds this opinion. He says, just like any field you go into college to hone your skills and learn how to do your job. College sports are no different from this. And I 100% agree with Cooper on this one. He has a great point, a great concept here. Students go to school to practice the major to get into the field they want. Student athletes go to school to also practice a major, but if they want to take their sports to the professional level, they practice their sport to take it to the professional level. So say you're a student studying business and you want to be an entrepreneur one day, start your own company, and be a CEO. So you go to college for, say, 4 years, I believe it's a bachelor's, and you go into the real world to make that your profession. So college was your practice and all of your learning, and then you take it out to the real world. Now, say you're a student athlete and decide that your sport is what you want to make your profession. So all of these 4 years you're playing in college sports are going to lead up into your professional career. So it's really the exact same concept. Here's your major, here's your sport. Here's your practice, and here's your profession. Really simple to understand. It's also called college sports because the athletes are students. They're amateurs. They are not professionals. So they do not need to be paid. If they can't go to the professional league after high school, then obviously they need more practice. So they go to college. And why would coaches pay them to practice what they need more practice on to make it their profession? So college is really just the next step for the big world ahead of us. Also, finally, I would like to talk about how it's called student athletes and not athlete students. I have a quote here written by Harris Michelle. She's featured in U.S. News, and she says that students are not professional athletes who are paid salaries and incentives for a career in sports. They are students receiving access through education through their participation in sports, for which they earn scholarships to pay for tuition, fees, room and board, and other allowable expenses. So, plain and simple right here, it says they are students receiving access to college education through their sport. So their sport is giving them a college education, and no student is being paid to take a college education. No athlete should be paid to take a college education. It's like students would be getting paid for getting an A on the test, just like athletes would be getting paid for scoring the game-winning goal. Same concept there, and it's not a fair reality. So, personally, I think that student athletes should not be paid for 2 reasons. First, I think it would take the love out of the game. Kids would start playing sports for the wrong reasons because they knew they could earn a salary after high school, which would really take the love out of the game and the passion for it, which would ruin it for so many people that really love the game and just want to play it because they believe it's a privilege. And playing sports is truly a privilege in college. And lastly, I'd like to bring up that students might see us athletes differently. They might think we think that we're superior, which is 100% not true. And I'd never want that myth to trend around schools because we begin to get paid. So the 3 reasons I pointed out was that education is guaranteed, sports are just like other majors, and we're student athletes, not athlete students. The education comes first. And these are all the reasons why, a couple of the many reasons why student athletes should not be paid in college and that they should be paid when they're professionals. Thank you.